Cartilage has multiple types of the cells present in its structure. So there are mainly two types. The one is called chondrocytes, which we can say the matured cartilaginous cells, and their function is the maintenance and continuous production of the cartilage matrix. And the second type of the cells are chondroblasts. The second kind of the cells are the chondroblasts, which are located at the periphery of the cartilage, just under the perichondrium, and their function is to secrete and produce from the scratch the extracellular matrix of the cartilage. The, the second component is the fibers, which are some elastic proteins, as elastin and also collagen fibers. These are present in the cartilage for the extra strength and flexibility of the tissue. And these two things, the cells and the fibers, they are embedded within a base, a gel-like structure, which we call the ground substance. It is made up of glycose, amine glycan, or proteoglycans. So the main components are proteins and sugars. So this is a protein and sugar based extracellular matrix. And finally, this everything which we have discussed, the cells, the fibers, and the ground substance. This is basically housed within or wrapped within a specific connective tissue, which is called the perichondrium. It is an irregular, dense type of the connective tissue which is provided with the blood supplies and innervation, and it is essential for the growth and maintenance of the cartilage. Ultimately, because it provides the food and nutrients, and also have those mesenchymal parenchymal cells for for the development of the chondroblast cells. Right, so in summary we can say that the cartilage is made up of two components, the cellular part and the extracellular part. The cellular part has the two types of the cells, the chondroblasts, which are immature cells which start the formation of the cartilage, and then ultimately gets matured and trapped within their own produced extracellular matrix, and now they are known as chondrocytes. Chondrocytes are mature cells which are responsible for the general repair and maintenance of the cartilage. Whereas the extracellular matrix we just have discussed, they consist of some protein fibers or collagenous fibers and elastin fibers, and they are embedded within the protein sugar gel base, which is called the ground substance. Okay, now I'm going to draw a general structure of a cartilage from where you can understand how those cells are arranged. So what we discussed, that the cartilage from the outer end is wrapped in a specific type of connective tissue, right? So these green fibers. So this is the dense irregular connective tissue, and this is called the perichondrium. Okay, and this perichondrium is present on the either side, on the both sides of the cartilage. This is perichondrium. Perichondrium has two things. Number one, it has a blood supply and nerve impulse, which supplies nutrients. The perichondrium has the blood vessels present within it and nerve fibers that provides the sensory function to the cartilage. And then secondly, they have specific undifferentiated cells that are called mesenchymal cells. They can differentiate into anything, so they have a numerous number of such cells. These are the mesenchymal cells, see? So this is a part of the perichondrium. Similarly, on this side, chondroblasts. So these chondroblasts, like I said, they are the cartilage producing cells, and they are always present on the peripheries of the cartilage. on the both sides. All right, so these are the chondroblasts, and इसका function है, hang on. So the chondroblasts basically start producing the ground substance. You know those, the sugar and protein based gels. So it starts producing that sugar and protein based gels around them. They continue producing their sugar based gels. On the both sides, and then finally they become embedded themselves within those sugar based gel. Hang on. And they fill up all that cartilage tissue with this protein based ground substance. Okay, and after some time when they produce enough of that gel, they become embedded within that sugar based gel, and then they are called, and they become matured, and they are known as chondrocytes. Okay, and these chondrocytes are basically embedded within the cartilage matrix, and then they are trapped within small cavities. These cavities are called lacuna, right? So they're empty spaces, and they just encapsulate the each chondrocyte cell. And sometimes these cells or the chondrocytes, they divide within the lacuna, and they are uh, present within the groups of 2 or 3 cells within one lacuna. Like there are 2 cells here, or 3 cells. So this type of the lacuna or the group of the cell is called the isogenic group of the chondrocytes. All right, so this was a general structure, and I will explain that structure in the next slide, where we have already a well elaborated diagram. There you see, it will make easy for us now to understand the structure of the cartilage. That the outer surface is the perichondrium on the both ends. From the perichondrium, these mesenchymal cells, they differentiate into chondroblasts, which are the ground substance producing cells or cartilage producing cells. They start secreting those extracellular matrix and ultimately gets entrapped within the extracellular matrix, and then they are trapped within a cavity called lacuna. So they are lacuna, and lacuna, within the lacuna, if they mature, they are called chondrocytes, and then they keep producing that ground substance for the normal repair of the cartilage. sometimes they divide within those lacuna, like in the group of the two or three cells. So they are called isogenic groups of chondrocytes, and then there are some elastic fibers are present within those extracellular matrix for flexibility, right? So that was about the structure and composition of the cartilage. So just to the recap, we will explain the functions of the different components. Chondroblasts are the immature cells. They secrete extracellular matrix but are not yet imprisoned within the lacuna. They are always present along the peripheral ends or near the perichondrium, right? And they once they get embedded within the ground substance, they are called chondrocytes. They are mature chondrocytes are the mature cells that are embedded within the extracellular matrix, specialized cells that produce and maintain the extracellular matrix. And in the hyaline cartilage, which is a type of the cartilage, chondrocytes are distributed either singly or in the groups of two or three cells. So they are called isogenic groups.